Welcome to the show about all things making music, from the creative process and workflow to gear and recording techniques. I'm your host, Brian Funk, musician, producer, Ableton Certified Trainer, and author of the 5-Minute Music Producer. Let's learn to become better music makers. Welcome to the Music Production Podcast. Today I'm speaking with music producer, Ableton Certified Trainer, and co-founder and technical director of Telepathic Instruments, Tom Cosm. Tom's an audio mad scientist who's developed some of the most interesting and outlandish Max for Live and Ableton Live devices, all while touring the world performing live electronic music. Telepathic has just released Orchid, a futuristic music idea machine conceived by Kevin Parker of Tame Impala. I've been following Tom's work since the early days of his Ableton Live tutorials on YouTube. His work really opened my eyes to the possibility and expressivity of live electronic music. Please welcome Tom Cosm to the Music Production Podcast. This episode of the Music Production Podcast is sponsored by Baby Audio and their new drum synthesizer called Techno. This is a reimagination of some of the classic drum machines. It allows you to create your own drum sounds from the ground up or use a ton of really cool presets. You get anything from big, huge, massive drums to more subtle things. You have total control, and there's a lot of fun to be had with this. I'll let you hear a different drum kit right now. These are just the built-in presets, and they sound amazing. There's so much you can do with these. Give you a new beat. One of the things I really love about this device is the humanize feature, so I'm going to turn that up a bit. And this is going to make the timing and the parameters of the synth change all the time. I'm going to turn up the parameters so you can really hear how these drum sounds are just changing, like real drums and like drum machines do sometimes. Let me just take this snare. I've got the humanize cranked up, so every time I play this snare, it sounds a bit different. Turn the humanize down, and you get the consistent drum sound. So you've got these drums that are alive and moving. On top of that, they've got some really nice randomization features. I'm just going to click the random dice, and we've got a completely new drum kit, and it sounds awesome. Listen to that snare. Nice. Really fun sound there. I'll just hit it again for another randomization. And I'm getting new sounds just like that. It's pretty intelligent. Sometimes when you're using drum machines to design sounds, you wish you could have access to those individual sounds. Baby Audio makes this so easy. Techno just allows you to grab any sound and just drag it onto an audio track, and then you've got the sample. And you can use that however you like. Additionally, say you take some of their more tonal sounds. I'm going to crank up the decay on this right here, and maybe I'll add some of the built-in effects like the saturation and the distortion, maybe even a little reverb. There we go. And I'm just going to drag this right onto a track that has my simpler, which is a live sampling device. And now I've got a playable instrument. So there's a lot of potential for techno as a sound design engine, but as a drum machine, it's a ton of fun. So I'm pretty excited about it, and really happy to have this as our sponsor today from Baby Audio. You can act now and take advantage of their intro pricing if you're fast. And you can also use the code MPP15 to get another 15% off. So go to their site, babyaud.io. So it's BABYAUD.io. And use the code MPP15 to get another 15% off this really fun drum machine. Tom Cosm, welcome to the show. It's great to have you, sir.
Thanks for having me here. Always a fan of your work, so good to have a chat. Yeah.
Well, I want to tell you, maybe first off, you were one of the first people that really inspired me with just the concept of live electronic music, like going way back. But I wasn't even using Ableton Live, and you're probably part of the reason I got into that too.
Yeah.
I was coming out of like rock bands and trying to figure out what I was going to do, they break up and like you want to try to find a way to do your music on your own. And you were talking about live electronic music and showing like, yeah, you can actually perform this stuff. It's not just playing backing tracks, and it's not just a CD that you play your guitar or karaoke over or anything like that. And
Mhm.
I was just blown away by all that stuff. And I think you're one of the very few people that set me on this course in a lot of ways. So I really
Wow,
appreciate everything you've done.
that's a powerful statement. Thank you very much. Yeah, that definitely is quite an impactful thing to hear, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you
Thank you.
one of the
Yeah.
early guys doing those tutorials when YouTube wasn't
Yeah.
known for that. I
Well,
was just learning you could learn on YouTube at that point.
I mean, there's an
Yeah.
interesting short story there. I mean, because that was purely an accidental thing. Like, I'd like to say that I saw YouTube and went, oh, no one's making tutorial videos for electronic music. It was actually a friend of mine, Ben, who was studying film, and he was doing kind of an end of year project, and he needed a topic, and he says, "So you're doing all this cool stuff with computers and music. Like, should we just make a few videos on how you do that?" And it was just going to be for his college. And he made a really great video, edited it together. It might be the one that you saw. It was just kind of a handful of 10-minute videos of me running through my setup, and I was a bit more nervous and back then. But and then we're like, well, this YouTube thing is here. Like, why don't we upload it to that? And the views just started climbing, and that was when I went, okay, well, I guess I'm pivoting from being a musician into teaching music now. So it was,
Hmm.
yeah, it's, yeah, I owe a lot to him, as you just kind of nicely owed some stuff to me. I'm going to pass the baton to Ben, my friend Ben, for actually getting me on there. I love it, and I don't regret anything about it. But yeah, it just happened to be one of the first, if not the first, Ableton one, and that's just having that sort of that badge or status, I guess, is kind of yeah, just kind of helped fuel things. Whether I put out absolute weird, chaotic, experimental stuff or not, I try to mix it up between actual good educational content and Tom's just found a spider and he's going to hook it up to something and make sounds out of it very ethically, with motion capture. I'm not actually hooking a spider up to
No
anything,
spiders were harmed.
and I let them go. Spiders are cool. They're our friends. Yeah, yeah,
But
cool.
yeah, I think you did a great job just introducing people to the concept that this can be done and it can be interesting and expressive.
Mm.
And after seeing some of the stuff you've done since then, I mean, some of it I don't even understand what you're doing. Like just this kind of like
Me neither.
science projects, dream waves. I think you had your brain hooked up to the
Yeah,
Max for Live patch, creating music while you were
yeah.
sleeping, and um,
I just got a new brainwave machine. This was gifted to me by I won't say who, but it's one of the Muse ones. So I've been making my own janky ones, and they have wires and stuff for years. And now I've got this thing that just kind of slips over your head and a lot more comfortable. Anyway, yeah, brainwaves. Love my brainwaves. Yeah,
yeah,
they're great for art.
right. And what a cool thing too, so personalized,
Hmm.
right? Like you're taking data, right, essentially, and converting that into other data that turns into music, and
Hmm.
but it's from your brain, it's from your mind, and even in the subconscious mind, I guess, as well.
That's it. That's it. And I mean, the type of these types of devices, and the things that are out there, which are in the price range of a hobbyist being able to take them and use them, um, they don't have as much resolution or as something you would get in say a research lab or something like that. But they're definitely accurate enough for art. They're a bit noisy. They might, but they can definitely pick up relaxation, attention, fear sometimes,
Mm.
nostalgia. Even if you balance everything right. And the fun part for me is seeing what I can get out of the different um, brainwave bands and frequencies and trying to find what that actually means. So, yeah. But as a general statement, I think I've always had a big passion for taking data, any data in the real world. Could be the weather, could be stock markets, could be brainwaves, um, could be a spider running around on my desk, and figuring out how I can convert that into something which produces nice audio without any sort of rhythmical or harmonic quantization. Maybe harmonically quantize something to, a minor scale, just so it's not doing chromatic things all over the place. But I really
Mm.
like trying to finding sample sets of data and seeing what they sound like. Yeah, it seems to be a recurring theme for almost everything I do in my own time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's almost like a backwards thing in a way where you're taking the emotion. A lot of times music is the thing that elicits the emotion.
Mm.
And now you're creating the music from emotions and thoughts that will therefore create new emotions and thoughts. It's kind of branching off of
Well, that's I get
interaction.
a deep sense of wonderment and excitement and mystery when I do this sort of work, and especially when I do it. Mostly do it as a hobby, or I might do like some sort of art piece for a festival or something. I've never done anything. Oh, I've done a few things, but there's been a few instances where I've done it on a contract level for like a company who wants some research done, or a company that wants an ad campaign done, and yeah, that to me is that blows my mind. Yeah, like I've always tended to be the person that gets asked to do the thing that nobody else wants to tackle, or
Mm.
when it comes to sound, or doing weird things with sound. Yeah, so I tend to get people who, I said, how did you find me? And they said, oh, well, look, we were asking all these people, and they kept saying, go and talk to Tom. That sounds like something Tom would do. And I really like that. Like
Yeah,
if it seems impossible, I'll give it a really good go, and that fills my cup.
that's a cool reputation to have. You're just the guy that's going to do something really outlandish with some sound that
Yeah,
no one else really knows how to do.
I'm sure it weirds a few people out, but
Yeah.
that's
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 good
that's
art, though,
art.
right?
It's
I
art,
think
right?
that's
Yeah,
part of the definition.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's why you got the call to work on Orchid Telepathic Instruments, which congratulations on that whole project. I've been following it, watching it come to life, and uh, I just saw that Time Magazine put it as one of the best music inventions of the year. I
Yeah,
mean, how cool is that?
that was
Congrats.
that was
Awesome.
that was a bit of a shock. I mean, wonderful, but yeah, I still haven't really processed that. I mean, it's quite a yeah. I mean, we've been
Hmm.
so busy with just getting this thing perfect and out to customers. I've got quite a few things that I put on the shelf, and I need to take a week and go, oh, something we
Yeah.
made is in Time magazine. That's kind of a thing. Yeah. So yeah.
You might have
So
to
a
put the
few people have said
brainwave
that.
machine on and see
Yeah, a few
see what
people have,
that
have,
comes
have
out.
mentioned it to me, and I haven't acted like real excited, and it's just because I just haven't figured out how to be excited about that yet. I
Hmm.
really am. I'm just it's just such a crazy concept. I mean, I think 5 years ago I was a much more of a I don't know, I was playing music at festivals and traveling around, and you know just kind of didn't really have much of a care in the world. And now I'm kind of Time magazine. So yeah,
Hmm.
interesting journey.
Maybe when you get the actual magazine in your hand, see
Oh,
it's
do
a
you think
real
it'll be
world
published in
thing.
the magazine? I don't really know how magazines work these days. It seems like they do blogs, but if it's in the actual magazine, I can buy one of those and give it to my mum and dad. I think
Yeah.
that'll make them that'll make them proud, which they already are.
Right.
They're very, very proud of what I do. But
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a great way to justify the career in music and arts. Right. I think
Yeah.
probably a lot of parents get a little nervous when their kids decide to take those paths. Like, don't you want to be like a lawyer or a doctor?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there were 10 years there where I don't think anybody, including myself, knew what I was actually doing. Uh, so yeah, it's a good little, again, a little trophy to put up there to say, hey,
Yeah.
managed to
Well, I
achieve something.
mean, that didn't exist at the time, right?
Yeah.
Like this career path that you found and
Mm.
built, you wouldn't have been able to pick that in high school as your path to, that's what I want to do. I'm going to go on
Mm.
this new thing called YouTube and take it from
And
there.
and just just the lead up to it. So, the initial stage, when Kevin reached out and we started working together and going back and forth and making prototypes, that was cool. That's I'm in my zone there for sure. And then there's this, oh, wait, you want to make thousands of these? Okay. And I don't know how to do that, or I didn't know how to do that. And kind of finding the right people, and then they had contacts, and then suddenly there's a team, and they're all excellent at what they do, and I'm kind of overseeing things, and I'm used to working alone. So I don't mind working with people, but I've definitely worked alone most of my life, again in my little dark room tinkering with, electronics and whatever. So just that phase of as we grew towards the first drop, you could say, where I was overseeing things and making sure that all these new extremely talented people were still keeping to the vibe of the machine, making sure that nothing got lost, and then kind of going over to China and meeting with manufacturers and going into production lines and sitting down in production lines and actually doing the assembly with a whole bunch of people, and going, that moment then I went, this is a weird life thing, man. This is cool. This is so cool. But yeah, that was that moment there when I'm in the production line, like doing some quality assurance stuff in China. I'm going, okay, yeah, this I couldn't have predicted this one. Absolutely not. So yeah, it's great. I love it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's a super cool example of following that dream and passion and jump into the next step, and then realizing there's another step beyond that I didn't see from the last one, and moving forward.
Yeah. And I have no idea what's next either. So that's
yeah. None of us do, right?
Yeah. We're definitely gonna I want to build some more things, that's for sure. So yeah.
Well, maybe if people aren't so familiar with it, we can tell them just a little bit of what Orchid is, the project, how you got involved. It sounds like a great story, and probably a surprising story from your end.
Yeah. Is this a video podcast?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Okay. If I've got a few props that I might bring up then here and there.
Oh, cool. Excellent.
Well, I mean, the story, as I said just before, the story began. It was quite funny actually. I was on Instagram, and I was getting all these messages from kind of teenagers and stuff, just all in, maybe 20 or 30 in a period of a few hours, saying, "Who are you? Like, how do you know Kevin?" And I was sitting there going, what's going on? I kind of showed my partner at the time. She's like, "Oh, they're saying Kevin Parker. That's Tame Impala." So I went into the Tame Impala Instagram, and they just freshly followed me. So I was getting a lot of their fans wondering who this person was, and so I kind of reached out. I reached back and said, "Hey, you just followed me. Like, what's up? Is there anything I can help you with?" And Kevin's just like, "Yeah, I've got this idea I've been brewing for years and years, based off an old Casio I used to play, and it's this chord machine." And he kind of told me the details. I got interested. Next thing I know, we're kind of swapping. He's sending me kind of MIDI effect kind of bundles of like how he could see it working, and I'm sending him back kind of max adaptions, and we're drawing things on paper. And yeah, eventually we got to the point where we had a software prototype that worked with just a standard MIDI keyboard. I think one of these, like a Novation or something. And yeah, once we were happy, I went, okay, well, I'm more of a software guy, but I like building things, so I got all the bits and pieces together. I got my friend Zach to help build this. So this is the original P0, we call it, prototype 0.
Nice.
It's seen better days. I need to do a repair job on it, but he kind of built this aluminium / perspex thing. You can see all these terrible soldering going on the bottom, and I put a Pi in it, put an Arduino in it, got some knobs, got some buttons, hoped for the best, and it worked. It works really well. So I sent that over to Kevin. I remember a very, very significant point. I got a video from one of his friends, just him sitting quietly it was a house party, but he was sitting quietly by himself with a glass of wine, just playing it with his eyes shut, and I just went, nailed it.
That's what I'm going for. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then just very quickly after that, it was like, cool. Let's ramp this up. I don't think there should be just one of these. I think we should really put a lot into it. I guess it's a good. I mean, this is the end product here. It's a good for people who are unfamiliar. Like it's an ideas machine for generating chords. You can use these buttons here to kind of denote major chords or complex chords with sixths or sevenths or ninths, and then you just simply push one of these keys and it will play that chord. And you can move around the register like here. This is kind of like your octave button, but you can go in inversions. And then we've got a whole range of synth engine parameters and performance effects and things like that. So that's it in a nutshell. Just if anyone's following along and hasn't actually figured out what we're talking about yet, and it's called Orchid. So just going from that to that, obviously we needed a really good designer. We got Ignacio from Moving Design to come in, who's responsible for, well, him and Kevin responsible for the look of the thing, which I think is amazing. You know, that's so outside of my scope. So to have a team on how it's going to look, not just how it's going to look, but how it's going to vibe. You know, what does it feel like when it's sitting on your coffee table? You know, that kind of stuff. Like that's really important. And got some really good coders in who could take my kind of janky code and turn it into like really good stuff. Synth engine specialists. So we pack like a really unique synth engine in there, which is our own. It's not just off the shelf, and it's an actual fully fledged synth engine with we've got three oscillator types. You know, we've got FM, subtractive, and our own sort of analog modeled electric piano, analog piano type sound, which kind of gives it a really unique flavor. And yeah, the team just grew and grew and grew. And yeah, it got to a point where, you know, there were a few stages where I'm not sure I know what I'm doing. Like, you know, everyone's looking at me for a decision and I've never been here before and I can't Google this. But, you know, just through asking people and intuition, and you know, we made some pretty good decisions, and a few things that held us back. You know, we didn't get everything right, especially in the first couple of drops. You know, but this one that we've just done this weekend, we've made a lot of them. They're still for sale as of the recording of this, and we feel like we have released version 1 of finished product, which we're happy with, which isn't a beta or anything like that. We have released a beta of our software to control the synth engine, so we've started a new thing. But yeah, it's kind of as of last weekend, I went, okay, this is a finished product now. Like we are really happy with how this is. I think that's the first time I've told that storyline from the start to the finish. How'd I do?
Excellent. It's full of surprises and twists, and it's cool to see the prototype you have there, and just
fun. Yeah,
because the end product is really sleek. It's got a simplicity to it. It looks to me like how we thought the future was going to be in the 80s. Mm-hmm. If you know that feeling, like it didn't turn out like that really, but it has that like kind of like almost maybe even like a Jetsons-y, you know, the cartoon feel, which is even older, I guess, an older vision of the future. But
you can imagine how much fun we had sitting around talking just like that, you know, just trying to Star Trek, or what if we mix that with a car? What about this car? Oh, but we've got orchids, we'll put some flowers in here, you know. So it was really fun to just be really abstract and use lots of metaphors and analogies, you know, in the initial stages. And that's the kind of but in my opinion, that's the kind of raw material that's the most valuable for Ignacio, for him to hear people kind of speak about their memories and their experiences, and this thing has this particular emotion to me, and you know, all of these objects, and you know, he can take those and actually come up with a CAD of an industrial designed object, you know, and that is amazing. Like I'd never seen anything like that before in my life. It's beautiful. It's art to me.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of a step away from, I think, a lot of design that's happening now. I think, to me, it seems like everything's getting very square, like an angular. And this is smooth and rounded.
Yeah.
Looks a little different, kind of has a different kind of call to it than some of the other stuff that you see.
Yeah, it's definitely by design, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, we wanted people to we want we want people to be proud of it, you know. We want, I mean, ultimately we want it to be useful and help people write music and come up with ideas, but we want people to pull it out and we want people to go, "Oh, wow, that's so cool. What is that?" You know? And I
Hmm.
mean, yes, from a, I guess, marketing perspective, which I'm not much involved in, but yes, that's a good idea. But the idea is, if you bring it, I mean, I gave one to my nephew, and he took it to high school, and I can only imagine, it's just like you pull it out, and then all of a sudden, there's all these people who are experimenting around with music who might not have ever touched an instrument in their lives, but instantly they're making chord progressions, complex chord progressions. So I think that's for me, this is my personal opinion. I think that's like quite a big part of it. Is it's a curiosity, and to me, that only
Hmm.
means more people getting interested in writing music, or maybe releasing music that's in their mind, but they've never had the training or the courage to actually do something and get it down into something else they can share with people.
Yeah. I think that immediacy is especially important today. I've asked this question a lot of myself, talked about it on this podcast,
Mm.
where when I started playing guitar, I was 14, it's the 90s, and there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So you suffer through it, right? Like your fingers hurt, but you want to get better and you learn a little bit and you're so excited to get one little bit of information and you work with it. I don't know if today with phones and the internet, I don't know if I would make it through those stages when I could just turn to an app or social media and get that kind of instant, much smaller sense of gratification, but still something. Whereas something
I'm.
like this, where you can sound like I'm making music already,
Mm.
get you in quick.
See, I've been going through this recently as well. If I catch myself scrolling at kind of 10 o'clock at night, depending on when I finish my day, and I'll be in my room, and all of my stuff is in this room. This is where I work. This is where I have my music stuff and my build my stuff. But in my room, it's kind of turned into this place where you know you can lie on the bed and scroll on your phone. And I'm kind of going, I don't know if I like this. So, I've just kind of put an Orchid on the corner of my bed, and I've got an Ableton Move sitting there as well. Just two things, and just trying to, like, instead of reaching for my phone, it's like, oh, I'll just reach over and turn it. Oh, cool, I'm playing a chord.
Mm.
And yeah, I don't know if it's working yet. It's a very new thing, but I'm definitely I'm I'm really looking for new ways to get back into writing music in my downtime. And I think the reason there, just to get deep on it, is my downtime has changed quite a lot with the shift. So as I was saying, 10 years ago, I was free. I was doing, like, my hours. I could stay up for 2 days writing music if I wanted to. But now I'm kind of like, okay, I've got 2 hours here. I've got 4 hours tonight. I'm going to be tired because I'm going to be doing these meetings. And that's a really interesting thing for me, because quite a few times I've tried to. It's like, cool, I've got 2 hours. Let's sit down and do some sound design or something. But knowing that I have that limitation has affected my ability to get into a flow state,
Mm.
if that makes sense. So, I can't, even though, it could only take me 10 minutes to get to that state, the fact that I know that there's going to be an ending point has, um, yeah, it kind of stops me from really getting in there. It's kind of like, I see these I see these memes that make me feel seen, where people have a meeting at midday, but they've got nothing on until midday. But the fact they've got a meeting at midday means they just pot around. They can't really do anything until that meeting happens. And I've overcome that, but I'm definitely one of those people that, when I have a particular thing coming up, I find that I'm not able to get creative unless that thing is a creative deadline. Then it's on. If I
Mm.
need to finish a track by this time because it's going to go out to get mastered or whatever, that's a different story. So yeah, I kind of paused my own personal projects. So I think if people who follow me, who are watching this, you've probably noticed that I haven't put out any content or music in the last couple of years, or anything that's up to the usual level of what I like to put out. And it's purely because I'm so hyper focused on this, and I've made the decision after trying to do stuff and then get a bit annoyed and, I'd almost say angry. I'm not an angry person, but I get a little bit like, I've lost it. I can't make music anymore. And when no, it's not that. Like, you just pause for a bit, get this big project thing that you're loving and excited about out of the way, and then you can just pick it back up. And once I made that decision, things just got great. Like, ideas that came into my head with music, I wouldn't get annoyed because I think I couldn't make them. I'm just like, cool, all right, this is something I can do once I've got, a couple of weeks spare down the line when we've got this amazing instrument out there and everyone's happy. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey for me.
So you mean you're sort of like setting yourself up for when that time comes? Like, okay, I've got a few little sketches, ideas, thoughts I want, and then I know the time is coming. I don't know when, but when it gets here, I don't have to think about what it's going to be. I'm able to hit the ground running.
I'd say it's more of a couple of notebooks full of ideas.
Yeah.
So I'll need to pick the ones that still resonate with me, I guess, when that free time comes. But I will just say that free time has come pretty much this week. Like, I've got a taste of it at least. And again, I don't want to say that the stuff I've been doing hasn't been an enjoyable part of my life. I absolutely love what I'm doing with Telepathic Instruments. I'm so passionate about it. I'm happy. It's just awesome. But yeah, I kind of this week, we're doing customer support now, and you're making sure shipping is going out and everything's running really smoothly. But once that dies down, there's going to be a couple of weeks, I think, where I can start writing some music again or finish some old tracks, and that alone, that taste is really exciting for me. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
That might bring you some renewed passion and enthusiasm towards your work. And like, it's, finally here. Like, sometimes you can, when you're doing it all the time, it can become the routine, and you might, I don't know if you do this because you seem like you're trying all kinds of new stuff all the time, but you might open the same template, or you go for the same sounds and things like that.
Well, I don't know if you're like this, but I've got a folder on my computer with probably 80 unfinished tracks in there. And I would say 10 of them are 98% ready to go. I couldn't quite say this is finished. So I think, I think the first thing I'll do is kind of spend a day going through that and being like, oh yeah, this one and this one. I think that'll be maybe one of the first things I do. I also thought it'd be really cool because I've been a bit out of the loop with Ableton Live versions as well, and new features and all that kind of thing. I was talking to, who was it? I think it was Dennis when I was over in Berlin a couple of weeks ago, and he started talking about stem separation and how that. And I was like, what? Ableton Live has stem separation, or what's going on? So I think I might do like a big live stream and invite people to come and like yell things at me, like, hey, try this, and try and like tell me what the new things are that I've missed. I think Live 12 was the last version I really used producing. I know there's only 2 or 3 major versions or whatever, but Ableton will really cram in some epic things in those minor versions. So yeah, I think I'd like to do that. I think it'd be fun. It's like, okay, I'm rusty. I haven't been paying attention. I'm going to jump in blind, and let's you lot teach me. No, teach me what I've missed.
Yeah, that's a fun turning of the tables a bit.
Yeah,
seeing what are you going to do with this now?
Yeah.
Well, I hear that. I mean, they're packing in so many features. Sometimes the new stuff comes out, and then you're like, oh man, I forgot about that really awesome thing that was like 3 versions ago. I've stopped playing around with it because I'm either doing the new stuff or there's just too much to keep up with. It's a great problem to have.
What out of since 12 and 12.x, what have you been using the most, like practically, not producing for your audience or anything like that. What's the feature that you like the most? If I can put you on the spot.
Yeah, it's probably I want to have a more glamorous answer, but I think it's the bounce in place. It's it's the and there's now a copy and bounce. It's like a copy and paste in place. So
Okay.
this feature is just super cool. I never would have thought of it, but you can just highlight any section of a clip, say an arrangement view,
Hmm.
and copy it, and then paste it to a new track, and it just prints it, whatever little
Just
section.
a
So all those effects.
regular Control C, Control V, or
Yeah, it's I think it might be like Shift Control V or something along those lines.
that's
It's a
amazing.
it's
See,
a
I didn't know you could do that. That's
yeah.
great.
So it just like you want that track you have with a whole string of effects on it to sound like it does down here.
Hmm.
Just copy and paste in place, or I think it's paste in place. It's called.
Yeah.
That's a pretty new one, but I'm just like yes, like now I'm just gonna mangle sounds and twist them up, and
Well,
it, it
it's a real balance of new features and workflow improvements, right? I mean,
it's a
that's
big
what.
workflow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think able people will use able to know this, but I mean, the way they just continuously give you better workflow improvements has always been why I've just stuck with them so loyally. And
Mhm.
without messing with what there already exists, because there's nothing more frustrating than an update comes out and then suddenly a shortcut which you use all the time is just slightly changed. And yeah,
Yeah. There was a little
cool.
bit of that happening with 12. Some things got shifted around a bit. I think
Mm,
all in all for the better, but yeah, I mean that's a tough one, I guess, right? And you can probably speak to this a little bit in terms of Orchid, where you've got this. It's here. It is. It exists now, and you may be doing firmware updates down the line and little changes here and there, and then you might kind of overstep something that like maybe I love that feature the way it works. It's just so good for me. And then, oh,
mhm.
they changed it. Now I got to hold down an extra button and, I can't do it. And
It's
I,
that, yeah. And I would
it's
say
got to
that's
be
a
a
big
tough one.
it's a big part of what I do when I'm sort of overseeing things is, yeah, if like in the first two drops, and we were sort of releasing firmware that when you had some problems, and maybe there was, there's a playstyle option, right? It's like, or you could this thing can work like A or it can work like B. We're not too sure what the best one is, so we're going to put it in the options menu and let people choose it. And then, this is hypothetical, by the way, but this is kind of what kind of happens. And then it's like, oh, cool, 90% of people are using A, so let's remove the options menu and just have A, and we don't have to have that. And I'm going, oh, those 10% of people are going to be not happy about that. We really need to, we really should be for an instrument which is all about getting ideas out quickly and immediately, and it's also something where people learn. It's kind of, you learn it like you learn like a piano or a guitar or something.
Hmm.
So when it comes to a point where something's going to change, it's like, I think we should keep the legacy version, and have it as a rollbackable, user definable option. Ultimately, as we roll out more firmware and new ideas, which we have a lot of, and we're going to be consistently updating this thing. I think a lot of them are around how the user can customize their own experience. Just simple little things like if you push an extension while you're holding a chord type, you push the 6 chord or you push the 9 chord. So you're playing a C, you're playing a minor, and you go, okay, C minor 6. Do you want that 6 to come in the next time you push the note, or do you want it to come in when you push the note? Or do you want it to play just that extension, the 6th, or do you want it to re-trigger the whole chord? So
Hmm.
there's like three different things there, and they quite drastically change depending on how people like to work. Like sometimes it's really fun hitting that chord like it's a finger drum. But some people want to cue their chord up, and when they play the next one, it's ready because they want to find their position, and only when they hit a new note it changes. So there's lots of interesting things like that, and it's been really great to watch. Like a lot of people are posting on social media and Instagram, and you go to the Telepathic Instruments Instagram, and every day there's 10, 20 reels of people using it in just wild, fantastic ways, and just seeing how they use it and go, oh, okay, this thing which we weren't too sure about is actually being used differently by all of these people, and we should just have the option to customize it to your taste, I guess. Yeah, so that's been really, really fun, you know.
Yeah, interesting. Have you come across anybody doing something unexpected?
Yeah,
Almost like maybe like what you would have been doing to some
yeah.
of the software back in the day, like, oh, we never thought of that, or that's not how we intended this feature to go.
I don't think I'll get in trouble with this one, but if I do, I've got heaps of brownie points. I'll take one. There's a bit of internal discussion going on at the moment about kind of pops and clicks. So, you know, if you change a sound, if you change a patch from something which is like a really big, rich, lush pad to something which is more of a stabby thing, obviously we're going to have reverb tails, you're going to have zero crossing issues. You're going to get pops if you want that, if you want to instantaneously go from one patch to another. And this currently exists in the firmware when you move between some patches. Sure, we can add little envelopes, so there's a little fade between them, and that there's a fix in progress. But when I went to the Telepathic Studios in, where was it? It was in Fremantle on Western Australia. Unfortunately, I can't remember the name of the person who was doing it, but I walked into the room and he was using that pop and crackle thing as a feature. He was making kind of beats and ambient kind of glitchy drone noises out of the pops and crackles, which was an artifact from us not having put into place a fix for it yet. And then a few other people had. I've seen another person who feeds it through a reverb, and they use changing the patches quickly and all the artifacts that come with that as a sort of a drone generator. So now it's kind of like, well, do we actually, as the pops and crackles part of the character of the thing? And, you know, do we have an options menu where it's like, no, I actually want the pops and crackles of changing a patch on, or do I want them off? We'd probably turn them off by default. I mean, I will say we've had far more people say they don't like them than I've seen people who are using them. But the fact is, there are people using them in that way. So yeah, I love these sort of these problems that require creative solutions. You know, I mean,
Yeah, no,
I
right
like
answer.
things when they've got problems with them. You know, like it's got some character. You know, I mean, if it
Hmm.
didn't turn on, that's not a good problem. But you know, if you get a little artifact here, and there's one synth. Not gonna mention what it is because everyone will do it. There's one synth patch where if you play the right chord and the right note, something about our synth engine will the maths all lines up in a certain way where you suddenly just get a completely different sound. And you know, we're looking at spectrograms going, how is this happening, you know? And so it's things like that. It's like, you know, it's almost like an Easter egg. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, we can fix it, but no one's found it and complained about it yet. So
Hmm. That reminds me of on Ableton's reverb, just plain reverb on the
mm,
size control.
yeah,
I think it's size. And they've updated it so you do have a drop down menu. I think it's smooth and whatever it was. But the old way, when you turn that, makes kind of these funny
and you change the
noises that,
decay time of a yeah. I remember that. Yeah,
which can be kind of fun sometimes.
can
It's
if you put another
and
reverb after it. Yeah.
yeah, weird things start happening,
Mm.
right? So it's not desirable, I don't think, and it most of the time probably you don't want that to happen. But when you want it, it's kind of a fun way to mess with your sound a little bit.
It
It's
is,
cool
yeah.
to have in there. So yeah, that's a funny one.
But once again, they usually always come down to, you know, that whole zero crossing thing. It's like, do you want to instantly have your result? Do you instantly want to change your decay time from, you know, 1,000 milliseconds to 500? Or are you, you know, do you want a very small envelope? And that very small envelope, especially when you've got transients, things like kick drums and hats and snares, you know, that can actually
Mm.
completely dull and take away the impact of the thing, or a stabby chord. So I remember using Ableton and seeing these things and these pops and these clicks. And you know, sometimes you'll drag a sample in and you'll see that like it's got a little attack on it by default, and you have to kind of stretch it back if you want to get the full impact of the waveform. And I remember used to being like, why are they doing this? Like, why are they dulling down everybody's drums? I don't understand. And now I fully get it. You know, I mean, you have to put that stuff in place, or else everything's going to pop and click, because the speaker can't go from completely out to completely in, or anything. It's got to make a transition, and if it's suddenly goes from there to there, you're basically doing the start of a saw wave. You know, so I get it. Yeah, there's quite a few things in Ableton that I was always like, I wonder why they did that. You know, you can't assign MIDI to certain things, or you know, they don't. It's and now I understand much more deeply after building my own instrument. It's like, oh yeah, that has the potential to just completely put the CPU into an endless loop and heat up and die, you know. So yeah, we really don't want to restrict people, but there are definitely things you've got to take into consideration that could harm the product or harm people's ears as well, you know. Like when Ableton decided to let people put their feedback up on their delays past 100. I remember that day. I was like, "Oh, that's brave," you know.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just going to keep going and going and going. And there's nothing more anxiety-inducing than hearing a delay start getting out of hand, and you don't know where it is in your project,
you
and
know
you're looking at the
coming.
levels like, "Where is it?" Yeah. So there is something more devastating. It's when you're doing it live in front of 1,000 people on a system that could really hurt them. So
yeah. Oh God, doing live sound ever, and there's always that moment. Why isn't it making any sound? Why isn't it making any sound? And then something's not on, and all the faders are all the way up because we can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. I got hit once. I can't remember what happens. I think someone plugged a power cable into like an audio input or something, and I just got hit with noise from speakers at full volume, and I fell to the ground. Like I couldn't. I was like, why did that knock me over? And people were like, you pretty much just got flashbang grenade. You know, it's like it's the same kind of thing. You just really messed with my head, probably my ears as well. It was just the worst.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I could believe that.
Doom stuff.
You guys are creating weapons now with the instrument.
I'll veer away from that topic.
Probably for the best.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it, but let's just say that. Yeah.
If I guess you just got to think about that though. What kind of parameters are you going to allow people access to, and where are you going to kind of steer them away from? Do we let them have that? And were there any tough calls for you on things like, we can't, like the delay is a great example, right? Like the delay, I think only ever went up to 95% until one day, and then went up past that. Or the resonance on the filters.
I think just what you were talking about. I mean, when you look at it and you look at, sorry for the fingerprints, I've been playing it all morning, but when you look at it, it's only got 9 encoders on it. But I know how powerful the synth engine is. Like, it's got a really, really powerful synth engine. And I want to, what does that say? Yeah, that's okay to show. I'm going, why don't we have sliders? We could have attack decay, we could have a filter, we could have LFO. You know, like I'm a synth nerd. We've got a cool synth engine. Let's have all of the parameters and people can just design them. And you know, the other creatives were like, no, this is what we're going for. We want people to just have the ease of being able to do things instantly. You can pack a whole lot into these, you know. And of course, now if people do want to deep dive into the synth, they can get the software plugged into the computer, and they can create all their own sounds on it. Just, you know, you can go as deep as you want. But yeah, that was kind of I got shut down pretty quickly, and I get it. I totally get it. Like the beauty of this is its compactness and its simplicity, and having it extend out to here with 50 other knobs is just going to overwhelm people. But yeah, that was, you know, there's things like that, but it's good. We've got a really good team of people. We've got engineers and nerds, and we've got creative musicians and really smart designers, and between us all, we know what's going to work best, what's actually possible. And now we've got our community Discord, which is just humming. We can also go, this is what people want as well, which is really powerful. yeah. So we've got really good information about of how this thing can improve and you know and into the future.
Mm. Oh,
Mm.
that makes sense for accessibility and the whole idea of an idea machine. Yeah, and I'm like you. I love to see the knobs and the faders too, but
Yeah,
it there's work that comes with that.
yeah.
There's some learning that would definitely would make it harder for your nephew to bring it to high school and have
Is
people
that
just pressing buttons and making music.
That's it. That's absolutely it. Yeah, I mean, you and me have got. I won't speak for you, but I've definitely got over a decade, probably nearly two, of sound design. So, um, give me every parameter. Give me the ones that you don't usually give to people. Those are the ones that I want to play with. But if you're a guitarist or a vocalist in a band and you're on the bus and you've got an idea in your head, but you need to get it down on something, you don't need access to you know a resonator or like
Hmm.
the fine tuning of of an LFO speed. You know, you don't need that stuff. You want to take it out of your bag, sit down, play it, put it back in your bag, go home, and then develop it out with your band. You know, so yeah, no, it's the smarter choice.
I like those kind of tools anyway because
Mm.
they focus me on the creative part and not the technical stuff and the designing sound and stuff. It's even just like one of the things I love about my acoustic guitar. You know,
Yeah.
you just that's it. This is
Mm.
what you could maybe play around with tunings, I guess, but you play it and you get the
Mm.
raw idea down. You're not trying to dial in the sound or connect your pedals or decide which
Mm.
amp you want or any of that kind of stuff.
It's funny. Just before I jumped on with you. I was talking to one of our co-founders, and he was saying a really good way to explain it is you choose your chords here, and this is kind of like doing your fingering on the guitar, because once you've chosen your chords, you can just move up and down the notes. And I kind of never thought about it like that. Like it's actually it's actually got that same sort of.
Almost
I
like
don't mean to
plucking the
say this in a.
strings.
Yeah, like it's almost like a cheat code. I don't mean to say that in like a negative way, like guitarists are cheating. It's just once you find your chord, you can actually move up and down. You can play C, D, E, F, G. And it's the
Mhm.
same with this. Like once you've found the chord you like, you can move up and down with the keyboard. And I never actually thought about it in that way. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of blew my mind a bit. Kind of after 4 years, I went, oh yeah, it's kind of got a guitar-esque feeling to it. Yeah. And then we've got
Hmm.
a transpose, which would be a capo. So
There you go.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
So it's kind of modeled after these the chord section in like these old Casios where you can kind of switch between you'd have like your rhythm do 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 do
Mhm.
do 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 and you know
Yeah.
they
Definitely Kevin's influence
they
coming through there. Like I think I've seen the device he talks about in his interviews and stuff about what it inspires him. I played on one at his house, which definitely does similar things. Yeah, I wasn't one of the people that played with those as a kid. What did I had? I had an omnichord. Where you
mm,
do you remember
yeah.
those? Where you'd
Oh
strum
yeah.
across the thing and they look like the Star Trek or whatever. Or no, what's
Yeah, like
the Millennium Falcon?
the Millennium Falcon, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I played on. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
they
real
put
win.
new ones of those out actually recently. I
The
think
omnichords.
I believe it's Yamaha
Yeah,
that
yeah,
put it
the
out.
toes, I think. Yeah. Do you know
Yeah,
what
it's a
changed in them? Well, they probably didn't need to change much, to be
MIDI,
honest.
I
But
think. I think
yeah.
they've got that and I don't even know what else.
Mm.
That might just be the big thing, USB, MIDI.
I think I might have seen drums happening on them as well,
Hmm.
or something like that. I could be wrong. I need to look that up. Yeah. Yeah,
They have fun
omnichords.
toys too. Um,
Yeah.
Kind of invite you to just play it and
Yeah.
not worry about it too much,
Mm.
as far as what's going on.
They were pretty clever. Do you remember who was the company behind them? Do you remember?
I'm pretty sure Yamaha was making them. Um,
Sorry to
I
look something up during
I
a
think
podcast, but I'm
no, that's
curious.
fine. Yeah. But
Suzuki. Is it?
Suzuki. Okay, maybe Suzuki, Yamaha,
Wow.
somebody that also makes motorcycles.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Love that, eh? Yeah.
Not Harley Davidson though.
Play
Definitely
some
not them.
chords while you're shooting down the road at 200 miles per
Yeah.
hour. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm.
I I see it's cool to know that this journey has been happening for so long and all this back and forth, and also just to see that you guys have involved the community a bit to
Mm.
help develop it,
Yeah.
putting it out there at first and
Yeah.
getting
It's a
that
big
feedback.
it's a big deal for me as well. I mean, you know what I do, and it's the
Yeah.
same as you. It's just a big part of my life
I
was
mean, like your
talking to
mega
people.
sets that you've made in the past, those
Yeah,
are like, there's a lot of community influence in those and based on things that people have asked you to include.
yeah. So I think that's once we started selling them, it was quite nice because I kind of moved kind of more away from that, I guess, manager role, and I started, well, we didn't start the community, like the community started the community.
Hmm.
We were doing things on Patreon. We did have like chats and stuff and lots of comments, but a Discord popped up within about 2 or 3 days after people started getting orchids. Really, really, really nice human. Because I got in touch, I was like, whoa, and I think he thought I was gonna say like, you can't do this, our lawyers are gonna take you down. But I was just like, wow, good on you. This is awesome. The community, when you get a community to build, they basically built how they want to interact with each other, how they want to interact with us, how they want to share their feedback, how they want to share their complaints, things like that. And I think that's it, from a company perspective, that you can't ask for much more, or you can't ask for
Hmm.
better. Um, and so we just went, cool. We're going to move in here. We're gonna come in here, and we've got our support agents are in there every day. I'm in there every other day, kind of interacting with people. And it's not just like, hey, I have a problem. Here is a solution. It's we've got one person on our staff who does support Crash Gothic, and they post their own jams. They post their own weird little things. They make their own little adapters out of Arduino Pi. If MIDI isn't working into this device, and we'll release like
Hmm.
instructions on how other people can do this. And I think that's just so important to me. I mean, we've got this instrument, and it's cool and it's mysterious and stuff, but we do have a community where people can interact with me and some others, and anything that gets said or suggestions, they do get listened to, and we do have big internal discussions where we talk about, this is what people want, and
Hmm.
or 10 people have requested this in a week, and we go, well, we better put that on the list then. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. It means a
Yeah.
lot to me to have that. I think it's the right way to do it.
Yeah. It's a
That's what I
relationship.
want. That's what I want if I bought a product and it was quite a new concept. I want to go on the Discord. I want to talk to the people who made it and be like, "Wow, did you think about this?" And
Hmm.
here's some weird thing. As somebody who's made like Max for Live stuff, having people come to me, I'll make something that just for a specific purpose that I made it for, and I'll put it out to the public, and then I'll get somebody coming and saying, "Hey, I've just used this device in a completely different way than I intended to do this amazing art." And it's a way I would have never conceived that this thing that I made would be used for. And I just get blown away by that. I think that's absolutely amazing, and I'm looking forward to that sort of stuff happening with Orchid, kind of customers, users, community coming to me and going, look at what we've figured out how to do with this thing that you've
Hmm.
built, and it's something that none of us have even imagined possible. Like, I want that. I want that buzz. That's a good one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I would expect you're going to get plenty of that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, what we're seeing now is um, people starting to post some pretty advanced stuff. Like the first few months, it was cool chord progressions and little jams and stuff. But now people have had it for a couple of months, and they're really getting their chops. So
Hmm.
it's I think it's going to be an exciting time for us.
Yeah. It seems like something you learn to play, like you said. You get used to how it works and all
Mm.
of that, which is a nice quality in an instrument that you can grow with it and evolve your playing and bring it in new ways. Have you found any kind of creative parallels to music, songwriting, and developing, and even like the managing side of stuff? Do you notice any kind of maybe some of those skills, or maybe even like contrasts as well to those two processes?
I mean, I would say my particular brain, in the way it approaches music, not just approaches creating, but listening to music, is very analytical. I like patterns, pattern recognition. I like splitting things up in my mind. Even if it's completely wrong, I do it anyway and I get a joy out of it. So when I listen to music, and I listen to the rhythms and I listen to the intervals and everything. So I think that I think years of doing that has potentially helped me in my journey of being more hands-on, embedded, using electronics, building hardware things, or just kind of electrical engineering type stuff. I mean, it's still just waveforms, so it's kind of like the relationship and how resistors and capacitors and everything works. I think I picked that up a little bit quicker than I would have if I hadn't been so into the technicality of music. Like, I was specifically trained as a jazz musician, so like I like to think
Hmm.
about relationships and ratios rather than sight reading music and playing it. Um, like I was saying this the other night during one of our director meetings, and is that um, there were a few problems leading up to the drop. Not problems, but there are a few situations where some really fast creative thinking was needed to problem solve and come up with a solution. And that kind of zone, if I'm in that zone, I'm like, right, I've got 24 hours to figure out how we can solve this really complex problem, which has never been solved before. And that I get the same sort of brain juice going on as when I'm like writing really good music that I'm happy with. Like, they're quite adjacent. Like,
Hmm.
I know what both feels like. I mean, they're not exactly the same, but I can get a lot of the satisfaction that I'm lacking from writing music at the moment from doing really creative problem solving. So I think, again, I think that's helped me. Yeah.
Hmm.
Those are the two that spring to mind. I don't know if that's exactly the answer you're looking for, but
I'm just curious. I could see how you would be a good guy in that situation, 24 hours. Like, okay, we got to really figure something out. And
yeah, I do like that. I do like
yeah,
that. Yeah. I like it when it happens and then I have time to cool down before it happens again. When it happens back to back to back, um,
yeah,
I'll still give it everything, but I might need a couple of days of sitting out in the nature after that.
yeah. Oh, I bet there's a lot of long hours indoors with who knows machines or
Yeah.
trying to figure that
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Yeah. After this, I will be just shooting outside and sitting on the couch in the sun for 10 minutes before I jump back into my next meeting. So
Yeah.
I'm doing my best. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really awesome thing. I'm excited. I got in on the most recent drop, so I'm waiting for one to come. I'm
Oh, you got one.
excited.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I love your work. I love Tame Impala, what Kevin does musically, and
Mm.
um, so I mean, this is just like an obvious one for me to pick this up, and I'm
Yeah.
sure I'm going to be having a ton of fun. And I love that. I like to work really fast. I've
Mm.
been finding that probably like 80% of a song or an idea happens really quick,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and it but that only happens if I'm really just letting go. I'm not overthinking things. I'm not trying to be clever, just letting it happen. And
Yeah.
things like this that get me there faster are right up my alley. And the sounds, of course, I'm loving the sound of these synth engines.
Mm.
So I think I'm gonna be pretty happy
You're gonna love it.
myself.
You reckon? Yeah, cool. Are you gonna do a rundown on your channel, do you think?
I might have to,
You might have to. Yeah, I'll
even
watch
just
it.
to promote this episode of the podcast. But
Yeah, yeah.
I could foresee it being something that I use to help get ideas going and make weird sounds and just have fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as I said, you can just have it next to you on your bed, and
Mm.
doing, or like you take it out and have a picnic or whatever. That's the cool
Yeah.
thing.
That's
And
that's
there's no
what I'm loving
screens on it.
about.
That's the thing.
Yeah, like move, like that's my favorite part about it is I can just carry it around and
Mm.
just not have to be it's not a big serious event with
No.
things like this.
Mm.
Even though I've got everything set up and it's not really much effort to turn it all on, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like okay, now I'm doing this. I'm going here. Kind of like you said with the time. You feel like, all right, I'm settling into an entire new episode and
Mm.
of the day. So yeah, sometimes that feels overwhelming.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's being able to go outside. Like with
Mm.
the laptop, you're pretty much restricted on a sunny day. I've done a few sessions where I've gone and sat under a tree with the laptop, and it's okay, but it's not really made for outside. But being able to take a move, I like taking the move and the Orchid. I think they're very complementary things, and just those two things, and I can just go anywhere. And it's just like I don't all of a sudden, unless it's raining, the world is completely open to creative ideas. Um, and that's a big thing for me. Like I like my studio, I like my white walls and my square room and all my things, but it's even just for the contrast. If you can go sit on a cliff or go look at an ocean, or even just get some grass under your feet, it
Mhm.
does change things.
Yeah,
You get some perspective on what you're up to with your own journey. For me, in my opinion.
I totally agree. Getting outside, whether it's a guitar or the computer is still the computer.
Yeah.
It's not this, it's the screen. I mean, I love that you can still do it, right? You
Mm.
can take it out there, but it is still this electronic, digital kind of weird thing
Yeah.
that pulls you out of those like nature moments a little bit.
Yeah. You got a 16:9 illuminated light just beaming into your face constantly. You
Yeah.
tend to miss the birds over there, or the waves over there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because you have to look at it. Like these other things, you can kind of look
Yeah.
around.
That's it. That's it. And again, that's a big part of I'll show it one more time. The big part of the design is, you can put one hand here and one hand here, and then you can just look around, like you can
Mm.
touch and feel everything. You don't have to move your hands from their position at all. They just stay there. So, it takes
Mm.
a few sessions to know where everything is, but it's a big
Mm-hmm.
part of it for me. It means you can shut your eyes as well. You know,
Mm.
I mean, I can't sit at my computer in Ableton Live and just shut my eyes for 2 minutes while I'm,
Not really.
designing a sound. I mean, I could, and I probably will now just for fun. But
Yeah, that'll be the next experiment, blindfolded sound design.
yeah, isn't that like the sound design Olympics say, where they kind of,
Hmm.
yeah, you have to do it like this, or mm,
Yeah. Anything to keep the creative juices flowing.
mm,
This is awesome, Tom. I'm really happy you're doing it, and I'm happy it's receiving such good feedback. And
thank you, man.
I'm happy for you to see the joy you're experiencing and seeing this thing come to life. And it's a cool chapter in your journey as an artist. And what's even cooler is, like so much of your journey, it's going to be part of other people's too.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, it's a really nice thing to say, and I
That's
appreciate it
true.
greatly. Yeah,
No exaggeration. And
thank
like
you.
I told you in the beginning, I really do appreciate everything you've done and how it's helped me just see things differently musically and kind of
Mm,
welcomed me into this world of like, hey, you can be just
thank you.
as expressive with this stuff as you could with
Yeah,
anything. So,
yeah.
powerful message and big impact on me, at least, I'll tell you.
Good, good. It makes me very, very happy.
So we can
Mm.
send people for the Orchid telepathicinstruments.com. Hopefully we still
Yeah,
got
yeah,
some
yeah. We
left
got
by the
we
time
got
this
them.
hits.
Oh, no, I won't. I know we've got some in stock. Yeah, yeah. Like we didn't. We're not going for scarcity or anything this time. They will sell out. Like we got a lot made, but we didn't get infinite made. So they will sell out, but they're still in there, and they'll be in there for a while. Just it's not my area, but I've seen the sales, and you've got a bit of time. Telepathicinstruments.com if you want to buy one. Telepathic Instruments on Instagram if you want to see people using them in awesome ways. Come join our Discord. Search for Telepathic Instruments Discord if you want to come and chat with me and the others, and just join I would like to say, one of the least toxic communities I've ever been part of on the internet. It's just a really good, wholesome place. Even if you don't own an Orchid, come and talk music with us, and get involved. What else? I should have a list of links. I should share.
Sure, your link.
2026. If you want something, just type in Telepathic Instruments and the thing, and you'll get it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're easy to find too. But all this will be in the show notes for everyone,
cool.
So they can get to it nice and easy.
I'm glad you're onto it.
Yeah. Thanks so much for taking the time to do this.
No worries. Absolutely.
It's great to have a chance to talk to you. I really do appreciate it, and thank you, and thank you to the listeners for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome.
Thank you for listening to the Music Production Podcast. If you want to help support the show, the best thing you can do is tell a friend, someone you think that would enjoy the show. I'd also love it if you could leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want to support my work, you can go to brianfunk.com. I've got tons of Ableton Live packs, tutorials, samples. You can check out my book, The 5-Minute Music Producer, which gives you 365 short music-making activities to help you get started, stay inspired, and finish more music. And there's also the Music Production Club, where you get my latest releases as soon as they're finished. It gives you access to a community of like-minded people who are making music and sharing ideas. You can share your music, find new collaborators, and participate in our live meetings where we set up some kind of musical challenge and then make music together and share our results at the end. That's the Music Production Club. It's a lot of fun, and you can find that and everything that I do at brianfunk.com. Thanks again for listening to the show, and have a great day.